Okay, good morning. So we're starting a new simon today, very interesting simon, Dine Gezustera or Beisakise. So we're going to be discussing a case where a person wants to draw some water from a river. He's got a house which is on the river bank, and he's going to build a little balcony so he can draw water into his house on Shabbos. And so too, if a guy's on a ship and he wants to draw water from the river into his little boat on Shabbos, how does he do it? Okay, so let's say the Mechaba. Gezustera. Pirush daf, a little ledge or a balcony, a binyan, or like either a ledge or a building, a binyan, a balcony, boilet mitoich habatim chutza, that comes out of the house, so shehilamala min hamayim, which is above the water, v'chaloin posuach lo min habayis, and he's got a window which opens up from the house. So if you look at the picture number one, yeah, you see what we're talking about. You've got a little house which is on the riverbank, and he's got a balcony which is sort of literally over the river. You're not allowed to draw water from the river to bring it into his house unless you've got a mechitza all the way around this little ledge or this balcony which butts out from his rishus hayachos, from his little house. Either you build a balcony around the whole thing, which is in picture number one, or you build a balcony around, you do a mechitza soviv hanekev around the hole in the floor of this ledge or balcony, where you're sort of opening the floor underneath you and you're bringing up the water from underneath you. Shedoilim derech sham. So that's picture number two. So do you see that? So picture number one is you've got a balcony all the way around the balcony. You've got mechitza all the way around it, and then picture number two, just underneath it, is where you've got the balcony just around the opening where you're going to draw the water. Now, this area has got to have 4x4 tefachim, because what the point is, we're trying to make it into a rish sayachid, as we'll see. And truth be told, it doesn't make a difference if you make this little mechitza above or underneath it. And you can actually pour out from it. So if you see in picture number three, yeah, he's got the mechitza underneath the place. So it doesn't really matter. Now, why not? How does this work? So we'll see in the Mishnah Berurah exactly the operation of this. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Aleph, Gezustera, Pirush, Daf Hayotzim min HaKosel. You've got a little ledge coming out of the wall of the house. Shayosomach liyam, which is abutting the sea or the nahar or a river. And this ledge, this balcony, is above the water. And there's a hole. And you can climb out onto the balcony through the window or the doorway which leads onto this balcony. And when you draw water through this opening, you're taking water from a carmelis. That's what we defined as a sea or a river has got the din of a carmelis. And that's a problem, because you're not allowed to transfer from a carmelis to a rishus hayochid. It's also midrabanon. Al kain sorach sheyasim mechitza. Therefore, you've got to make a mechitza gevei asar tefachim, which is of height 10 tefachim al kol saviva, around your ledge, around your balcony. Because now everything underneath that balcony has the status of rishus hayochid. And even though the balcony is over the water, but not necessarily going all the way down and touching the water, it's a special kula that Chazal allowed with water. We say that the balcony, as it were, the mechitza, stretches down, theoretically, all the way down to the water, and therefore when you're drawing the water from the carmelis, is going actually not from a carmelis, it's going from a rishus hayochid, and you're going from a rishus hayochid, which is directly underneath you, and you're just bringing it into your house. It's all one rishus hayochid. Ein memalimen, and unless you can't, and so if you haven't got a mechitza, then you can't do it. Ein memalimen lachnis lebayis v'chein lahaniche al gabe hagezustera gamkein also, and to leave it on the ledge would also be a problem. Because your gezustera, your balcony, your ledge has got a state of rishus hayochid. So if you don't make a mechitza, you'll bring it from a carmelis onto rishus hayochid. That's a problem. You don't necessarily have to do like in picture 1, the balcony, the mechitza, all the way around the balcony. It's enough to do it around the opening, which is in picture 2, where you've got the hole through which you're drawing the water. Which is also 4 by 4 tefachim wide. Because anything less than 4 tefachim is not going to help you, because it's not going to have the status of Rosh Yochid. Or lemata mechuberes, you can even do it underneath it. So that's picture 3, where you've got the mechitzas going down underneath the gezustera. That's also okay. Even though, as you can see, it's not touching the water. Look at picture 3. But still, and certainly if it does go down all the way to the water, because there we say the opposite. We say good asik. We say that the mechitza goes upwards and makes a mechitza on the gezustera. Al gabo. The gam bezeh omrin good achis mechitza v'yesh marashenim shecholkim bezeh osfirlehu. In the case of picture number 3, where the mechitza is made underneath the gezustera, there are some rishonim who argue osfirlehu the dafka kashois mechitza is lamatz min gezustera oz omrin good achis mechitza avalo kashois al gav hagezustera, but not when you put it above it. Okay, and not only can you draw water up from the river or the sea into your, through your hole and into this mechitza that you've made, but you can also pour water out. Lishbeich mimeno. Hainu derech hanekev. You can get rid of water down through this hole into the sea. Derech hanekev al hanar v'hayam, into the river to the sea. Da'af shasheich v'nyechuch mechutz lemechitza hal gezustra. Even though the whole mechanics are that you're taking it from Rosh Yochid and you're throwing it down into Rosh Yochid, because your mechitzas made the area underneath it into Rosh Yochid. And even though, of course, the sea and the river is going to take whatever you've thrown out and take it way beyond that, afilu hachishari, va'afilu im hu samach l'rakag shehu Rosh Hashanah, even if it's close to Rosh Hashanah, k'mavu b'simen shemem hey, sifkot memchetz, mikol mokum kiven she'en kavnos le'tzin Rosh Hashanah shari va'ami behalacha. Okay, so what have we said? So again, we're doing Shin Nun Hey Sif Aleph, and we're talking about a situation where a guy's got a house which abuts a riverbank or a sea, and he's got a little ledge, a balcony over it, and he wants to draw water up from it. Ordinarily, it'll be a problem because he can't go from a Carmelis, which is what a sea or a river is, into a Rosh Yochid. So what you do is you make a mechitza either around the whole gezustera, or at least around the hole through which you're going to draw the water. So long as it's 4 by 4 tefachim, you've made it into a Rosh Yochid, and it goes down because of gudachis. The mechitzas go all the way down to the sea, and you're effectively just drawing from not a karmelis, you're drawing from a Rosh Yochid, because you've got the mechitzas there, into your house, which is Rosh Yochid. It's all one Rosh Yochid, no problem. And you can even do the mechitzas underneath it, like in picture number 3. Okay. Yeah, because of those acharinim. Yeah, the rishonim. Yeah. Okay, now, Adkan, we're talking, that was the balconies. Now we're going to be talking about a sfina. So you see the picture number 4. Well, let's see what the Mechaber says. So too a guy is on a boat on Shabbos. He can't draw water from the river or the sea that he's in. Unless he makes a little board, which is 4 by 4, and he makes a hole in it, and he brings water up through that hole. But in this situation with a sfina, he doesn't need to make mechitzas. We sort of theoretically bend round the sides of this board, the good achis mechitzah, and we pretend that it's sort of going down. The good achis, we say the mechitzas are going down. Shekila b'sfina, Chazal were lenient with regard to a boat. This is not, you can't really do the same as you can in the house. So if you look at the picture number 4, yeah, you've got the boat, and the guy is sitting there, and he makes a little board like a frame, a 4 by 4 tefachim, and he puts his bucket underneath it. And again, the svara is because the area underneath it, we say good achis mechitzah, and as if the mechitzas are going down, and he draws the water not from a karmelis anymore, but from a Rosh Yochid into his Rosh Yochid, therefore no problem. So let's see the Mishnah Berurah for the more details. Sif Katan Zayin. Eini Yochel Lamalis. The Hamayim Karmelis Ein Basfin Rosh Yochid. Because if you didn't do this, then you've got a problem because you're drawing water from a Karmelis to Rosh Yochid. Arbar Haba, the frame has got to be 4 by 4 tefachim, and they allow it. Why? Shekilu b'sfina pirush shebeguzuztra niska mikoidem. In the case previously, the balcony which is next to the house, yeah. So sorich davka mechitza asor tefachim. You got to have mechitzas of 10 tefachim. V'hakula. And the kula over there was, the kula was you're sort of lowering the mechitzas all the way down to the water. Aval besfina making an oid. We're even more makil. The ein tzorich mechitzas klal. You don't need mechitzas at all. All you need is that frame that is got in picture number 4. Ela amrinan koifat stadim ki'ilu hayasham mechitzas. But if you theoretically bend down the frame as if mechitzas were going down, v'achkach amrinan gudachis admaya, and then you apply gudachis, which takes you down all the way to the water. Okay, now weiter in the mechaber with 2 lines from the bottom on page 412 in our editions. V'hani mili. Now, when is this true? That we allow this person to put a little frame out and to lower the bucket through it and to draw water from the river on Shabbos into his boat? That is when there is a gap of 10 tfachim from the side of the ship to the water. Can you see in the picture number 4? He's got a mark there showing you that of how much distance there is between the frame and the sea. So again, says the Mechaber, so that is when the side of the ship is within 10 tefachim. Yeah, it's less than 10 tefachim between the side of the ship and the water. But if the sides of the ship, imagine a larger ship, go more than 10 tefachim from above the water, then moitzi ziz kolshu. All you need to do is put out the little ziz, and you make a hole in it, and you do it through that. Shahare, if you turn 2 pages now, there's lots of notes. Shahare derech avir mokum patur. Now, can you see the picture number 15? Can you see that? That's what we're describing over here. When there's more than 10 tefachim from the side of the ship to the water level, yeah. When you've got more than 10 tefachim from the side of the ship, all you need to do is just put a little plank out, and then you can actually pull up the water. He says you put a hole in the plank and you do it through there, but we'll see in the Mishnah Berurah it says even that you don't need to do. You can just you can actually pour water from anywhere around the boat, because this little plank is just a heka ba'alma. Why? What is this for over here? Because you're going derech avir mokum patur, because you're more than 10 tefachim you're going from the Karmelis to a Mokum Patur, because you're going higher than 10 tefachim above the Karmelis, so you're going from Karmelis to a Mokum Patur, Vesagi beheka ziz, and therefore all you need is a little heka, which is what this ziz, this little plank of wood, is achieving. Okay, let's do the Mishnah Berurah on that. So, Sif Katan Yud. So Kashehu B'toich Hasar. So when do we say that you make a frame like in picture number 4? That's when the side of the ship is within 4 tefachim. Within Yud tefachim of the water level. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Rotzolema Shegoiva. The side of the ship is within 10 tefachim of the ground. That's when you do this frame. But the inside of the boat, but when the depth of the boat itself is 10 tefachim, and therefore has the seitzah for sheyochid, therefore you need to make this frame of 4 by 4 tefachim. Like we said, because if the height of the boat from the inside is less than 10 tefachim, it's got very low walls, a very shallow boat, like a very low rowing boat, something like that, then it actually has the status not of Rosh Yochid, but the boat itself is a Karmelis, and then you've got no problem, because you're going Karmelis to Karmelis, therefore there's no problem. So we're talking about a situation where, in the first part, where there is more than 10 tefachim within the boat itself, i.e. it has a state of Yochid, but the gap on the outside, from the top of the side of the boat to the water level, is within 10 tefachim, and therefore you've got to do this frame business to avoid going from a Karmelis to a Rosh Yochid. Yeah, you with me? And therefore, the frame achieves it going from a Rosh Yochid to Rosh Yochid. It's no longer a Karmelis. Fine. But if the sides are more than 10 tefachim, it actually makes it easier, because you're going from Karmelis to Mokum Patur, and Mokum Patur into your Rosh Yochid. That's okay. That's all right. And there you just need a ziz kolshu. Says just as a hacker. That's the Mishnah Berurah Yud Aleph. Rotzalema v'nimsa shu memale al korchuch tzorich lagbi k'tzas hamayim lemala medafnei asfina sheyozim asor davi mokum patur v'imkeinu metaltim rekamis l'shiyachid derech mokum patur, and that's okay. V'alkeinu kidu chachom shadai all you need to do is sheyotzi ziz kolshu chuz l'sfina mishum heka ba'alma, and that's it. Now then he says, you in this little heka you put a nekev, you put a hole. V'achreinim iskimu. The beziz ain't tzarich lasas nekev. Actually, with the ziz, you don't even need to do the hole. Given she'ena ela leheka ba'alma. At the end of the day, it's only there for a heka. V'yochayil, and you lemalos afilu shleb makam aziz. And actually, you can fill it even not in the place of the ziz. If you look at picture note 15, he says on makar din zeh. Tzion hashar tzion shehu medivrei hashulchan aruch harav u'mavur sham she'ein tzorich klal lemalas dafka samach leziz, that you actually don't even need to do it anywhere near the ziz. And lekivan she'osa heka ziz b'mokum ach echad. Once you've got the little plank out there as a reminder, mutar lemalas mikol mokum b'sfina. You can actually fill out from anywhere around the boat. Good. Okay. And then we said, then we're back to the mechaber, the top line. So you're in this boat on Shabbos and you want to throw out wastewater. You can throw it out over the sides of the boat, but throw it onto the defonim, the sides of the boat, and then it would go. Then it will sort of make its way down to the sea. Don't throw it directly into the sea, but throw it onto the sides of the boat, and then it will go into the sea. Why? Since you can't throw it directly into the sea, it's going indirectly using your koyach to go from the sides into the sea. And therefore, when it comes to Carmelis, Chazal will not geyser. Okay, let's just do the Mishnah Berurah on that. Yud Tzivkot and Yud Gimel. Yochel Lishbeich. In other words, you want to get rid of your wastewater from the boat, so just throw it onto the side of the outer side of the boat, and it will trickle down into the sea. You're not mechuyev. You're washing up liquid or ka'aras v'chiyah gavna b'toich hadaf shel arba al arba shel so lemalas hamayim derech bay. You don't have to do it through the frame. You can throw it on the sides of the boat. It doesn't make a difference how tall the sides of the boat are. Even if you haven't got a frame, and even if you haven't got the ziz, in any situation, you're on a boat on Shabbos, you want to get rid of wastewater, just throw it onto the side of the sfina, the side of the boat, and then it goes into the sea, because it's kaichai and it's not going directly into the carmelis. It's kaichai and kaichai legazrin with the carmelis. It's not directly. You're going it via the sides, and therefore it's okay. Al dafne because if you throw it away from the sides of the ship directly into the sea, which of course is nisa drabonon, and that we're not allowed. Because there, if you want to make a ziz, the heka, then that would be allowed. If you want to do it directly, if it smells bad or something, then if you do the ziz, you can do it away from the sfina, away from the sides. Layom, says the Mishnah Berurah, but obviously, another thing, you say you've got your Shabbos leftovers and you've got bones and what's left on the plate, and you want to put it on the side of Rosh Hadofen, but obviously on the side of the wall of the ship, and they can fall into the sea. That's allowed. Okay. Now let's just finish off this siman. We're in the middle of the Ramah. So you've got two boats next to each other in the river or in the sea. Also, the talta mizulazu. You can't move things from one boat to another boat. Elim kain kashuras, unless the boats are tied together zubazu. Ay elim kain gavoim min hamayim asara, or they're higher than 10 tefachim from the water. Utzrichim la'arev biyachad im heim shel shnei bnei adam. But if they belong to two different people, then you need to make an eruv as well. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Katan Yud Zayin, Elim kain kashuras. The only way to transfer from one boat to another is if they're tied together. Why? Says the Mishnah Berurah Yud Zayin, T'chashein kashuras, because if they're not tied together, Afar pishein smucha zulazu, even though they're very close, Mikol mokum asuyas lihisrachik. The likelihood is they will separate. Zumizu v'nimsa karmelis mafsekas beinehem. So you've got a rishayachid with a karmelis in between, and then in the Rosh Yochid, the second boat. For Chashin and Dilma Nofel V'Asul Asui B'Kav Rosh Yochid, the concern is they'll pass you something, it will go into the water, and then you'll take it from there. So you're making a Havara from Rosh Yochid to a Karmelis, or Karmelis to Rosh Yochid. And therefore, for this reason, Afilu Shtei Sfinas Shehem Shel Adam Echad Gam Kein Osa, because you're going from a Rosh Yochid to a Karmelis, or Karmelis to Rosh Yochid. V'yesh Matirin Imhem Shel Adam Echad. Others allow you to pass from one boat to another if they belong to one person. We're not worried, we're not choshish for this. V'rak b'shem Shel Shnei Bnei Adam Asurin K'shein K'shur Zubezu. And we're only worried in a situation when they belong to two people and they're not tied together. Because since the nature of boats is to separate and to move, and to distance themselves from each other, the Erev won't help you. Even if it's just tied together with a string, so long as it's quite strong, it doesn't have to be a very heavy rope, so long as it's a strong enough string which will keep them together. They've got to be at least within 4 tefachim of each other. We're talking about boats which are more than 10 tefachim from the sea level. Then it'll be okay even if they're not kshuros. Why? Because if the sides of the boat are higher than 10 tefachim, you're actually going from Rosh Yochid to Avir, which is called Mokum Patur. And even though when you transfer over B'dyut Achas on one line, here it's shtei diotas, they're opposite each other, they're not on the same line. Because even if it's less than 10 tefachim, it's only nisr rabbanon. And if it's more than 10 tefachim, shari legamri lahishit. Or you're throwing it. And if it's belonging to two people, just to finish off, then you got to make an erev. Koi gam al haheter de gvoy masora af k'she'enim k'shurus is going on the heter whether it's more than 10 tefachim, even though they're not tied. Or b'sefer beis mea choylek al zev daito k'she'enim k'shurus when they're not tied. Mikim she'omed in his spirit, since they're likely to separate. Af imheim gvoy masora. Imheim shal shnei b'nei adam asurim betil to zem zev ve'ein erev moya bohem. Okay, so what have we said? Just very briefly, we've spoken about 3 things. Number 1, if you've got a house which abuts a river or a sea, and you want to draw water from that river or sea on Shabbos, the way to do it is you make a little balcony or a ledge or something coming out of your Rosh Yochid, and then you can't draw from the water, which is a karmelis, into the Rosh Yochid. That's osmid rabbanon. So you make a mechitza around the karmel, around the gzustra, around this balcony, around this ledge, either all the way around it, or just in 4x4 in some area through which there's a hole and you're going to pull up, and that makes it, because of Gudachis, that makes the mechitza go down, and you're just transferring from Rosh Yochid to Rosh Yochid. That's allowed. You can even make the mechitzas underneath it, and so too with a sfina. If you're on a little rowing boat on Shabbos, whatever it is, and you want to take water from the sea or even pour stuff out, you make this little frame of 4x4, and you've got the same way of doing that. And then lastly, you've got 2 boats together. If you want to transfer one to the other, if you tie them together, that would be the eitzah, which is so long as they're within 4 tefachim of each other, that would be the way to do it. Okay.